I have nothing interesting to say to open this video, so let the credits roll. So every day from 1 to 4 on Lifetime, I watch Grey's Anatomy. Today I watched one of the saddest episodes, in my opinion, where George dies at the end. And since tomorrow is the season premiere of season 10 of Grey's Anatomy on ABC, I thought I would just rant about Grey's Anatomy because I was recently talking about it to my mom about how Shonda Rhimes never lets characters be happy and fans never really get what they want because, and don't get me wrong, because Shonda is a genius, but sometimes I just wish there would be a happy ending for the characters at some point, but there never is. And most of the characters have been in the hospital before with some wound or some injury, or something is wrong with them, something. There's always something happening. So I made a list of the characters and their issues and the things that have happened and character deaths that have like bothered me. So let's dive in, shall we? So here are some of the characters that I've written down that have died in various seasons of Grey's Anatomy over the past however many years. 10, I guess, because it'll be 10 seasons, so 10 years, is that right? Okay, anyway, so there was Henry, Teddy's husband. This bothered me because Teddy was legitimately becoming happy with him and I was liking him. He was nice and he was sweet and it was great and it was beautiful, and then Henry died. So anyway, there was Ellis Grey, who I wasn't really that particular about because, you know, Ellis was kind of mean and cold and distant, but when she died it was like Meredith is having her little death scene experience at this point where she drowned and then they met in the hospital in like Meredith's dream, and then there was Ellis, and it was kind of not that bad, but I mean, Ellis Grey's death didn't really affect me that much. There was Susan Grey, and then Thatcher had the nerve to come in and slap Meredith, which was just rude and disrespectful in her workplace, but hey, we're not even going to get into that. Okay, so then there's Adele Weber, who died on Miranda Bailey's wedding day, and they didn't want to tell Bailey, so Richard and Meredith sat in a corner and they were like crying. They weren't sitting in a corner, but they were like standing over in the corner and they talked about it and they like cried for a bit. Adele didn't really affect me either. There was Harold O'Malley, who was George's dad. That was sad. Then of course there's George O'Malley. That was really sad. There was Denny, who, you know, I like Denny's character, but then there's the fact that he and Izzy had gotten engaged like an hour before he died, but I wasn't sure how long Denny and Izzy really knew each other to get engaged, and for him to leave so much money to Izzy and all that jazz. And I was like, I mean, Denny was likable, but how well did we really know Denny? And then you didn't know him outside of the hospital, but hey, whatever. You can't help who you love. Alright. So then, of course, there's Lexi and Mark, which a lot of people are upset about because I really wanted Lexi and Mark to get back together. And I mean, I wanted them to get back together while they were alive and well and happy. But that didn't happen because they both died after that plane crash. And that was just really sad. And I cried and cried because it was really sad. And I've said it was really sad, but it was really, really sad. And you know, as much as these character deaths have affected me, I don't think there's any death on Grey's Anatomy that got me more. That was like one of the saddest episodes for me was Into a Train, where Bonnie died. And Bonnie is the girl who was impaled with a pole with a guy, and to take the pole out, one of them would have to die. And Bonnie knew it was going to be her, and it was just really sad because, just watch it. It's in either season 1 or season 2. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. If you haven't seen Grey's Anatomy, you're just slacking in general. And if you have seen it, just watch it again and cry it all out. So then you have all the characters that have just been in the hospital with injuries and things, and they've just had life-threatening situations happen to them. And I've written a list of that too because I'm on top of this. There was Miranda, who had to say that she was a nurse or she would have been shot down by the guy who started the whole hospital shooting. There was also, when she was in labor, her then husband had gotten into an accident and he was in the hospital and he had to have surgery, and Miranda was refusing to go into labor and have the baby because Tucker was hurt and she didn't want to have to go through it alone. And then there's Meredith, who nearly drowned, and Meredith just has issues on top of issues anyway because of her childhood and her past. Derek was shot. Izzy got cancer. George obviously died in the hospital. Alex had been shot. Owen has PTSD, or he had PTSD, and he was also shot. He also strangled Christina in one season, and that got bad. Christina had a gun pointed at her head while she was trying to save Derek's life after Derek had been shot, and then she got in the plane crash and she had to listen to animals eating Lexi's flesh and Meredith crying because Lexi had died. And that was one sad episode too. After the plane crash, when Christina explains everything and what happened out there in the forest, that was terrible. That was a sad time. And then there's Teddy. Her husband died. Then Owen fired her so she could go off and do something or another. And then Arizona was in the plane crash. She lost her leg, and then she just got really mean and cold to Callie, and because she was mad at Callie because Callie decided that Arizona needed to lose her leg so the woman would live, which is just selfish that Arizona was even mad about it. Like, you got your life. You have a prosthetic. I know it's not the same, but you still have your life. And then she went and she cheated on Callie. Ugh. With some doctor whose name I don't even remember. And then Kepner had to talk about her entire life so she wouldn't get shot down in the hospital shooting. And then they let Kepner fail her boards. Not okay. There's been a plane crash. There's been a hospital shooting. A bomb has gone off. That episode was really good. Watch that one too. And now we're sitting around waiting to see if Richard is going to live or die tomorrow night. Who knows? Because Shonda is a genius, and before you know it, your favorite character goes kaput. Gone with the wind. They're out. Someone else comes in. You don't know. But hey, I tell you, I keep watching it. I keep loving it. And I'm gonna keep watching it until it's over. But really, the show's great. You need to watch it. Comes on tomorrow night. It's 2 hours. I actually don't know what time it starts. Either 8 or 9. I don't know. Check your local listing. Watch it. Don't spoil it for me because I'll be in a class during the time that's on. So I won't get to see it until Friday. So enjoy the show. Post your comments about what gripes you have about the show and character deaths and things that have been happening. And I'll see you next week. I really hope this makes sense because I definitely did it all in one take. Also, my voice is really weird, isn't it?